All right, so I'm going to quickly go through what's required as far as your ART clinical requirements go. This is provided in your Canvas course, and it directly correlates to the ART CT clinical experience requirements. So it has information just like the information given here, these clinical experience requirements. And you'll see that, for example, in procedures, we start with head without contrast. And over here in your log that I have provided for you, head without contrast. So basically what might be best to do is take a look at this, print it out, and have it with you when you go into clinic. Then what you can do is every time you do a head without and you're ready to log that as a repetition, you don't have to run to the computer each time. You can just say the time and date to give you a reference. And then later on, or if you do have time right away, you can go into art.org and log that in. Just as a reminder too, so say you did an arteriogram of the neck or CTA neck. As a reminder, it's required that you do an injection of contrast for these ones indicated with the X here for it to count as a repetition. Now, let's say that you're in a facility that sometimes does, let's say, temporal bones or IACs. Let's say you've gotten all the way to the end and you've only ever been there for 2 temporal bones. So you need to simulate one more so that you can get at least 3 repetitions. That's okay. This one's eligible for simulation. Just know that you cannot do more than 10 simulations total. Why the simulations are nice is because, and it says up here as well, let me give you an example to start off with. Let's say that we'll use temporal bones and IACs again. Let's say I'm just going to type in random things here, 1 temporal bone in my first semester, and then I saw another one in my second semester. Let's say now it's the summer, I'm trying to finish up comps, and I just can't see another temporal bone exam. Unfortunately, this whole category right here will not start to count toward my 125 total until I have at least 3 in here. So while I do have 2 of these logged, they won't count until I get at least 3. Minimum of 3. So let's say that I have 122 repetitions for total procedures, and I just need 3 more procedures, but I just can't see another temporal bone. If I were to simulate it, because it's eligible, I would go in here, simulate it, and have that count as my 3rd repetition. Then all of a sudden this category would count because it has the minimum number of repetitions, and I would go to having 122 total procedures to 125 total procedures. If I didn't have this 3rd repetition, again, my total procedures would show up as 122 because this category does not count until it has at least 3 in it. All right, so now that we know that, let's get this out of the way and this out of the way. And let's take a look at art.org. That's where we're logged in right now. I've already logged in to save us that time. What I would do if I were going to be applying for my post-primary, in your case, certificate for CT, I would go into resources on my dashboard here, and I would go to earn additional credentials / post-primary. You can read through these things. Of course, you all will choose computed tomography. I cannot go into computed tomography to show you all what to do because I've already gotten a credential in that. So instead, what I'm going to do is, let's use cardiac interventional. You all will see the same type of things, your handbook, structured education requirements, and so on. Another thing that you'll see when you log into your CT credential is this, logging your clinical experience link. Wait for that to work. All right. Then what I'm going to do is go here again and choose my modality. This just gives me other information. I have MRI, These are other ones I've used in the past to, as an example, it's kind of a mock situation. But here I'll choose cardiac interventional radiography. You guys would choose computed tomography. All right, and then next what you'll see is an overview. And let's go to Start Online Documentation. Again, definitely feel free to take your time, run through the different resources that they give you here. But for now, so I don't keep you here all day, I'm just going to click both of these and press Continue. Same thing that you would do for computed tomography after you've read through all of these things. And here's a note again about the 2-year threshold, basically, on exams. From the moment you log an exam here, you have 2 years to submit all of your stuff and schedule your exam before they start to expire. All right, it'll also give you your structured education requirements, those earned and those required. These you will get from your other didactic courses, in this case RADT 190, which you should be taking this semester, and then next semester it'll be RADT 207. Those will give you all the structured education requirements needed for CT. But let's continue here. All right, so this is where you will get a summary of the things that you're doing. And while we're here, this is what you're going to need to take a screenshot of and send to me every month. That's going to be one of your assignments in this clinical course. I'm on a PC. If you are too, you'll have this snipping tool. That's one easy way to get a quick screenshot of this. So as I'm going through, all I would do, take a screenshot, save it to my computer, and then send it along as my assignment every month. But let's move on. All right, I'm going to press Continue Clinical Experience Documentation. And then it goes back to that ART log that we had talked about previously. Right here. So say I logged my first repetition here of a head without. Later on, I'm going to go to the computer and I'm going to be sure that I have the name of the person who supervised me doing this head without exam, their credentials, facility, and definitely above all else, their email here. Right. So I'll go in here, choose in this case, a head without would appear here because you all will be in the CT clinical requirement. So head without would show up right here. Date performed and time, which you should have written down. Then you're going to select your verifier. Select or add new verifier. You all will need to add new ones. Once you've added that person, though, they'll be there for future repetitions or competencies. So what happens is when you go in to add a new verifier, you will enter their email address. So let's just say Taryn Price, and then her email address is tprice@ducc.nmsu. Then her facility. This you can leave blank. Once you've had those entered, you can press Add this procedure. What it will do is send off an email to this person and asking them to verify that procedure. I know it's kind of a lot to ask, but these people will need to go into their email and verify your exams. I guess they can wait until they have a bunch of emails so they're not constantly checking their email to verify. But it is going to be important that they do eventually verify all of these for you. Otherwise, those exams will not be counted. So you would press Add this procedure, and then it would be sitting there on your list waiting to be verified. That's where we get this list here. Once I did that head without, and you will have 125 appear here. Once I did that head without, I would have a number 1 right here, repetitions pending verification. Once my tech went in, checked their email, and verified it, that 1 would go away from here and then show up here. Done, verified, I have 1 repetition accepted. Now that 1 repetition will expire this day and time 2 years from now. So I just need to make sure and get them all in within 2 years. And it'll show me here. All right, I hope this helps.